Hello, welcome back to episode 27 of the No Excuses podcast, and this one is going to be entitled It's a Mess. I really don't know where I'm coming or going. I've lost a lot of things I wanted to show you. Well, not lost, but mislaid. I've shoved them away somewhere and I don't know where I've shoved them, and that's probably the right term as well. But I'm here. Welcome back to all my regular visitors, and I've had some new ones recently, and I'm only 4 subscribers at the time of recording, 4 subscribers off 500. So if you watch me on a regular, semi-regular basis and you don't subscribe, then please do. And if you do, once I reach 500, I will be doing a giveaway based here on YouTube. So yes, welcome. It's a lovely autumnal day. It's damp outside, but not raining at the moment. My Acer, I will try and get some photographs to put at the end of the video of our 2 Acer trees, who are, the one I've got right in front of me is a lovely red colour, and it looks like it's about to start dropping heavily now. Some years it goes really pink, but this year it's more of a, I don't know, nice deep red, almost pink. And I think it's past its best, but it's still worth looking at. And then we've got another one that we gave a right chopping to a few weeks ago on the other side of the garden. That's gorgeous oranges and red colours with a bit of green. Very pretty. We've also got a catinus or smoke bush that is going wonderful, wonderful colours. And against the backdrop of the greens we've got, it's why autumn is a favourite with many, many people. Personally, autumn's my favourite because it was my birthday last week, and I am an autumn girl. And I always think that's why I wear autumn, or I can wear autumn coloured clothing as well. So, yes, waffle over. Well, the first part of waffle over. If you want to talk about anything, then you can contact me on Ravelry, Instagram, or by email. All the links are below. We have 2 make-alongs running at the moment. We have the autumn part of the seasonal mal, which is anything that you can relate back to the season that you're living in at the moment, you're living through. So if you're down below the equator, you're coming into late spring, early summer, so you would be might be making things that are more appropriate to that weather. But please do enter. Excuse me. And the other one is the jump along, which is any adult size jumper or cardigan with sleeves of any length. So they can be short, and again that allows for those of you who are knitting into the summer to do something that's more appropriate to where you are. The seasonal mal ends at the end of the year, and it will be replaced by something else, that if I can, better get the brain into gear. And the jump along ends on February the 14th, because I thought that's a nice, easy date for people to remember, being Valentine's Day, and it's also slap bang in the middle of Feb. I thought in a minute I want to show you some inspiration. I've gone through my favourites and just picked out a few different things to give you some inspiration to enter the jump along. I think you can view my favourites anyway on Ravelry, and I think that's one of the advantages that it's got, is that people can look at one another's profiles, etc. So, if you're sparked by some of the things that I show you and you think you'd like to look at some more of my favourites, then please do. I've got 830 favourited items on Ravelry. I don't own them all, anywhere near that. So, I say anywhere near that. I think I've got a couple of 100 patterns on there that I've bought. Some of them I regret buying because it was a spur of the moment, and I think now I'll never make them, but most of them I still really, really like, with the sort of vague intention of making it one day. But before we get to that, what am I wearing? I am wearing the Mossy Way jumper by Carol Fella. It's just, but you can see it's got a very interesting, if I wiggle, it's got a very interesting, oh, you can't really see it. I will get some Tom to take some pictures of me afterwards. It's got like a V shape going down the top of the arm. It goes down the sleeve to a certain, you can see it just triangular shape in here. Where you do your decreases on top of the sleeve. So you start at one side of the neck and you work out, and then the other side, and it's joined here with a little bit of visible seaming. And the yoke's a bit deeper at the back, you know, because it starts higher. And then once you've done that, you just go round and round and round to the bottom. It's a very well written pattern. It's called the Mossy Way. I'll put it down below. And yes, it's another one of my favourites. You know what it's knitted in. It's a DK pattern, and it's in BFL DK. Now, this hasn't really got a colour, because I asked Becky of River Knits probably about 4 years ago if she'd do me a custom dye. And this is what she came up with to my specification. So it's got speckles in it, but not dark speckles. It's more of a variegation. And I'd say it's got cream, green, and a beigey colour, but a pretty beige, not a dull beige. Yeah, and you can see it makes a little bit of patterning without it being, it's subtle enough that you don't notice any pooling. When I was knitting this, I remember now, this is one of the things I tried to do helical knitting with, to alternate the hand-dyed skeins, but I got in such a mess with turning the, you know, I hate doing things in the round, generally speaking, because I find it boring. But I was twisting the jumper, and I got 2 balls of wool, and it was getting on my nerves. So I decided to undo it. I don't know why I was only going to undo a little bit of it, but I ended up undoing it all the way to the yoke and just taking my chances on it pooling or not, and I can't see any difference. Because she dyed it in all the one dye lot, I think it's turned out fine. So, you know, I don't really closely inspect it to see, I'm looking in the mirror, to see if I can see a line across it where I've gone from one skein to another. I can't see that at all. I'd recommend the pattern, so the links will be below. Right, let's have a little chat. Today, I haven't got anything to finish. I'll show you my progress on my orchid. I won't show you any more squares for the crochet because I'm still probably, I might be a little bit over halfway now, but I've still got a way to go. I had to order more yarn. It's going to be quite an expensive dog blanket at the end of the day. And I'm thinking now maybe I should have done it in acrylic, and, you know, order in haste, repent at leisure. Isn't that the saying? Yeah. But I'm in a mess because I bought various things that I wanted to show you. Christmas decoration, and I've got some incoming to show you, and I can sort that out. I forgot to show you my ombre minis last time, and I'll show you those. But yeah, and I've got a birthday present to show you. But I've lost some. We went to Webb's the other week, and Mum and I bought 3 little Christmas decorations for our very short tree. I think it's only 3 foot. And I don't know where I've put them, and it's really bugging me. Not because I was necessarily going to show them on the podcast, because I think I'll show you my weird tree when it's all done, when it's up, but because I don't know where I put them. Anyway, let's get going, shall we? I'm going to put some photographs up here. I'm hoping this is going to work, just to show you, give you a bit of inspiration for the jump along. I've got to refer to my notes. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 patterns here I'm going to show you. So if you don't want to look at these, you'll have to zoom on to the end. And I don't know whether I can do time stamping but I shall investigate. The other thing is, I need to say before I go on, is as part of my birthday present, Tom bought me a new microphone. It's not one of these all singing or dancing ones, but Mum is quite often saying that when I do like an aside or, you know, I go quiet, because probably something I've bought and I shouldn't have done, and I whisper more or less, she can't hear, and she thinks that sound can be improved. So I've got a microphone on now, and let's see if it makes a difference, because if it doesn't make a difference, then I may return it. So, okay, let's get on with looking at all the nice jumpers, shall we? I've got a mixture of jumpers and cardigans on here, but I've gone through it fairly quickly through my favourites, and I haven't tried to make them all too different, because at the end of the day they're all to my taste and there may not be anything that you like. So the first one I want to show you is the Armour by Maddie Harvey. Now this has got 99 projects listed on it on Ravelry at the moment. It's knitted in a DK, and as you can see, it's got a it's knitted top down, and it's got loops like knots in relief on the yoke, and then you've got that same colour that you've used on the yoke at the bottom of the jumper. Now obviously you can change that up if you want to. She's knitted it in 2 colours by the look of it. Yeah, she has knitted it in 2 colours, but you could knit it in 3 if you wanted a different coloured knot section on the top, and then, or you could knit it all in 1 colour at the bottom if you've got enough yarn. But so that's in DK. It's designed to be knitted with 7 to 13 inches of ease, so that's quite loose. And the sizings go from 28 to 30 to 56 to 58. And if you add those ease onto that, then you've got quite a wide range of sizes to be able to knit. So that's it, Armour by Maddie Harvey. The second one is a very popular project on Ravelry. It's the Gnarled Oak by Alana Dakos. This is, I've got the Coastal Knits book that this is in, but looking at Ravelry, it is also available via a website. This has 661 projects on Ravelry, and it's also in DK. The finished bust measurements go from 32 to 61.5, and it's a bottom up, it's all knitted in one piece, and then sleeves are knitted separately, and I assume, without having a quick look in the book, that they're sewn on. But this has got a really nice relief yoke on it, and I think that's why it's popular. It's a crew neck cardigan. Don't think it's sticked. I think you knit from one front to another. If it's sticked, that's going to be interesting, because it is something I do want to knit. I've also saved some instructions from somebody else where they've talked about knitting the relief bit around the yoke at a different gauge, I think. But yeah, this is certainly a popular one on Ravelry. It's like a classic with a twist. Now my next choice has been knitted in worsted weight linen, but then I think depending on how big or small you wanted it, you could probably go down to DK or up to Aran or worsted, because linen, you can't always get heavyweight linen, I'm not sure. So this is the Lichen top by Dan Doh, and it's got 81 projects on Ravelry. And the Lichen, I mean obviously I like it because of the colour, because it's green, but I quite liked it because it would look really, really nice over a long sleeve top or t-shirt in either a toning or a contrasting colour, because it's very open lace work, and I just really like the look of this. The finished sizes are 40, 50 or 60 inch bust, and it's done from the bottom up, and not much mentioned on there. I haven't bought the pattern, so I can't say any more about the construction, whether the sleeves are made separately or whether they're all in one. But I do like that, and I thought it's a bit different to anything else I've ever made. The fact I might catch it on things would be an issue, so one day maybe. The next one is even more popular on Ravelry. It's the Goldwing by Jennifer Steingass, and this has got 1,080 projects on Ravelry, and she's recommended worsted stroke DK. It's a top down, and it's in 2 colours with a lovely sort of tree leaf like pattern on the yoke, and there's only 2 colours used. You swap halfway, and it gives you the impression sort of that more colours are involved because of that. It's recommended to be knit within 3 to 6 inches of positive ease, and the sizings are very inclusive, and they go from 36.5 finish measurements to 67.5. So that is something I'd really like to do. Of course, Jen has got quite a few lovely colour work patterns on Ravelry as well. They're very popular. And now for something a bit different, and I really, really like this. I've been looking at this recently. I don't know how I found it, because I do a bit of browsing on Ravelry. Probably not as much as I used to, but I saw this and instantly fell in love with it. But when I read about it today, when I wrote these things down, I realised it wouldn't quite be big enough for me. But it's the Haze top or jumper by Ayano Tanaka. I said it all right earlier. And there's only 34 projects on there, but that wouldn't put me off. It's done in light fingering, including Holstgarn Super Soft. There's an example of that. And the other one is what looks like a mohair. It uses 4 sizes of needle to get all the details and the shaping in. It's got beautiful details on the neck. There's a little cable that runs down the raglan. It's like a smock top with a gathered neck. It's got gathered sleeves, and there's a beautiful like crisscrossy lace on the shoulders that's meant to emulate twinkling stars. It's top down, but it goes from 41 to 48.5, 48.25, sorry, what's that quarter, size chest, and that would be a little bit small for me, to put it mildly. That's with 8 inches of ease, so I don't know whether, I have written to the designer and said, without me having to submit to buying the pattern, I think it's about £6 something, would an experienced knitter be able to alter the sizing of it fairly easily. Now, because there's only 34 projects and it's not a mega successful pattern, even though I think it's bang on trend, not that, I want to be bang on trend, but I like this shape and I always have done. I've written to her saying, would I be able to increase the sizing of it a little bit more? She might not want to invest the time into putting bigger sizes into it if she's not going to sell very more versions of it. The yarn I've got, when I looked at this, I say I've been looking at it quite a bit in the last few days, completely missed the fact that it wasn't big enough for me, really. But I've got some Gold Crest by Super Soft, and I'm going to put a photograph in here, and I quite fancy a version in that. So we'll see if the designer gets back to me. I'll let you know. There is something else that Emma of Aldenwood Craft knitted that's similar, and I'll look that out. If I don't get a positive response, or indeed any response, I'll look that out, and I might mention that next time. Can't think what it's called. Starts with M, that's all I know. Right, next. We have the Honeybee cardigan by Laura Chau. I do like Cosmic Pluto designs. I do like Laura's patterns. I own a few of these, but I've not knit any of her patterns yet. It's in a 4-ply, and there are 445 projects on Ravelry. It's bottom up with setting sleeves, so very little sewing or seaming. Now, because I own the pattern, I've looked at it many times, but I've never decided what yarn to do it in. But what she said is you can do it. She doesn't mention ease because the lace is quite stretchy, and I'm not sure. I can't remember where the lace is just on the front of the cardigan. You can do it to suit your own ease. She's got a picture of her, the one I'm going to put up, quite fitted, and it's cropped. But excuse me, there are other photographs on Ravelry of it being done longer and looser. And now personally, I like this crop. Not I would do it that short for me, but I'd certainly do it so it was a semi-fitted cardigan, and I am going to knit that one day. 28 inch to 56 inch finished bust on that. Okay, 3 more to go. Next is the Seleste tee or jumper, depending on what you fancy making, by Sari Norlund. The tee she's done in 2 times 4 ply yarns, and Sari said that makes DK. I'd say when I've done my city limits it's more of a worsted, but it might be the yarn that she's used, because she's used a mohair, I think, and that might bring it down slightly in weight, so perhaps a lighter DK. And then the dark coloured jumper, the rust coloured jumper, is an Aran weight. Now the tee has got 147 projects on it, and the jumper's got 234. It's done with 2 to 3 inches of ease, positive ease, and the sizing is inclusive. It goes from 32, from finished size, 32 inches to 63.5. I'm sorry if I'm only doing this in inches, but I'll put all the links down below, because I can do small things in centimetres, because I'm one of these people of an age where I got caught in the middle of decimalisation growing up in the UK. You know, when I was still at school. But bigger things I tend to do in imperial, like inches. I can see 12 inches in my mind better than I can see 12 centimetres. I can do it if I think about it, but yeah. And of course a lot of these are American style patterns, and they put inches first anyway. American designers. Sari isn't. Yeah, it's the Seleste is a horseshoe lace design with bubbles on. It's a very similar lace to the Whitmore. I suspect it's taken from the same family of lace designs where the increase is in the yoke, but the Seleste came out before the Whitmore, and I'm not saying it was copied at all, because I say it's a standard lace pattern, and I like that. I like the bubbles on it, and the bubbles are only worked on the right side only to make it easier, so you don't have to keep rotating your work. Now, next we have the Witch Elm cardigan by Emma Vining. Now I've included a one by Emma because I really do like her designs. My red jumper that I wore the other week with a little bit of design on yoke and the cuffs is Emma's, and I've also done another jumper of Emma's, which unfortunately I gave to the charity shop, not because of the design, because I didn't like the yarn, so I haven't got that any longer to show you. But now this Witch Elm was included in Knitter number 111, which is available in the UK, but I'm not sure where else it's available. I still own the pattern because I've kept that particular issue. I subscribed to the Knitter for about 3 or 4 years, and then I got a bit fed up of it because they seem to be getting a bit wild. You know, I like a decent complicated classic will do me, or even a plain classic will do me. But some of this stuff was getting a bit silly, you know, so excuse me. So it's only got 14 projects on Ravelry, this has. It's DK, and she's knitted it in West Yorkshire's BFL. It's got a 32 to 50 inch bust, but the actual finished, largest size is 56. That's 6 inches of positive ease. you can buy the Knitter 111 or a lot of their back issues electronically via their website, and it does give the link on Ravelry. But I do like the lines in this. It's got Emma takes a lot of her inspiration from architecture, and I like the lines in this. There's about 3 of Emma's cardigans that are fairly similar in their lines, and I've chosen this one possibly because of the colour in the photograph. You know me. And finally, one I've already made, which is the Dory by Amy Christophers. It's got 88 projects on Ravelry. It says it's worsted, and I did it in felted tweed Aran. I think I've worn it on the podcast. And it's got a 33 to a 54-inch bust. It's available on the Barocco website, but it's knitted flat, because I know some of you would prefer not to do any seaming. But yeah, I like this, and I would want to make another one. It's a plain crew neck cardigan with a nice simple yoke pattern of just different stitches on the different knit and purl texture on the yoke. So yeah, very nice, very nice. So those are some of my recommendations to enter into a jump along if you want to. Obviously not compulsory. So yes, what I'm going to do now is I've just dropped my remote on the floor. Can today get any worse? I woke up hardly being able to move again. The weather's been so damp here the last few days that I've struggled a bit with pain and stiffness. Once I get going, I'm not too bad. I'm okay at the moment, although I am due some more drugs, which I might take when I turn you off quickly. But I'm going to come back in a minute with progress on my jumper and my birthday present that I've bought. Okay? Hello again. Now this is going to be interesting because I've shoved the microphone on its stand in a ball of wool to stabilise it, because I've got the phone on a selfie stick to record. This is so amateur. Anyway, my sister gave me some money last week for my birthday, and so I thought, ooh. And my mum gave me some money for my birthday, and I thought, ooh, I could add it up and I could buy some yarn. And then I got distracted because Under the Rowan Trees, which is a very good stationery site, sent me a 20% birthday discount. What do you do? You go and buy some more stationery. I'll show you the easy thing to show you. I haven't taken it out of the pad, but this is, let's see if I can show you, the Tombow watercolour greenery set, watercolouring set. Okay, now you get, these are dual brush pens. They've got a finer tip one end and a brush pen the other. You get a pencil, a water pen, so you can blend these together, and a fine liner, and then you get a rubber, and under here is a mixing little piece of plastic, I presume, a mixing palette, so that I can do the pictures in theory that are on there. And there's one on the back as well, which I think is more like the beginning of a koala bear without a face, but there you go. So I bought that because it's green. I was going to buy the Spectrum Noir Discovery watercolour kit. Now I have zero artistic talent, but I keep watching, I don't keep watching, I've watched a few tutorials about how to paint and things, and I'm thinking if I could even do something simple, it would make me smile. So that's the first thing. I haven't taken it out of plastic, so I'm sorry about the reflections from the light, but yeah. But aren't the colours gorgeous in that? I'm really looking forward to having a go at that. And then a new to them brand is Scribble and Dot, and you can see there's a sloth hanging on there. If I suddenly disappear, right, it's because I've fallen out the wheelchair because I've leant too far forward. Oh, grief. And then it comes in a nice presentation box. It's wrapped in tissue paper, bound, and it's dot grid. And I've bought it because I know my others are dot grid, but this is a heavier paper, and it would take some. I can use my pens on it. In other words, 160 GSM. So if you consider that at work we generally used 80 GSM in the photocopier paper, that's twice the weight, grams per square metre. Now, so it's quite nice and thick. You get a pen loop on the back, and there's the sloth on the front. You get 2 markers, place markers, and an elastic binder, you know, to close the book with. There, and there's an envelope at the back to put extra things in. And I'll see if I can show you the dots. They're very, very subtle on here. You just, can you see them? Oh, I can't. It's so cosy. But yes, anyway. So my plan is to, to have a go, really. What can you do? You know, when you get something like this, you think, well, it's expensive, it's not cheap. Will I spoil it with practicing? But then I'm never going to be an artist, so what can I spoil? Oh, sorry, I moved you. Let's move you back. Oh, sister. Everything's falling along, everything's falling apart. The microphone's just gone AWOL. I hope that's all right. If it isn't, I'm going to have to cut bits out. I sound like Norman Collier. Do you remember him with that microphone? That'll be me. Now I'm going to try and show you my progress on my orchid jumper without moving the microphone, which is shoved in the rest of all the wall. This is the back of my orchid jumper. You can see a lovely stitch pattern there with a panel either side. It's going to be quite a wide jumper. As I said to you before, I stopped at about 8 inches up and I went down a size. I possibly could have gone down another size. This is like a blanket. I'm going to have to think very carefully about this before I go any further, because I haven't done anywhere near the number of pattern repeats on here that it asks for, and I'm already at the height that it should be before you start. You stop doing it's the same on the front as well, so you stop doing the lace pattern and then there's a twisted stitch pattern going up to the shoulder that I should have done on the bottom, but I changed it up slightly to make it a bit easier on my hands. So I did a slightly different twisted stitch rib. But I've done all this work, and now I'm thinking, it's so big and I'm so high, do I need to go back a pattern? I need to end on the right point, so I've got a completed pattern motif. And there's only really one place you can do that. So unless I take it back 4 inches and have a bigger yoke, then I'm going to have to think about it. Because basically, well, I've realised now, because it's a Marie Wallen pattern, Marie tends to knit with felted tweed a lot, which they call a DK, and you can knit it as a DK, but when Marie does her colour work, she tends to do it as 4-ply. And I didn't look at the gauge because it's loose. I didn't think I needed to look at the gauge. And I've realised now that my soft tweed, this is Drops soft tweed in the Pebble colourway, which is gorgeous. Got little bits of grey with a little fleck in of lighter and darker flecks in. beautifully soft. What I've realised is, because that's a DK, and it's probably look at it, it's probably a 4-ply gauge. That's why it's ended up huge, and that's why it might be too long. So I'm going to go back and have a think about what I need to do. And it may be, I'm not undoing it again, that I go down a pattern and I have a deeper yoke. I'm going to see and do some measurements. There's no good coming here, watching me, who's been knitting for well over 50 years, thinking I know what I'm talking about, because I don't. And I prove it again and again and again. Well, yeah, I do know what I'm talking about. But do I practice my own? Oh, you know what I mean. And like a lot of people, I'm in too much of a hurry to get on with it. You know I was looking forward to doing it. Oh. Okay, I'm going to go and get the incoming now. See the min. Wow, I have found my incoming, and these are my 3 clubs that I get every month. One of them will end at the end of the year, and I'm going to show you that first. This is the Nature Club by Rhapsody Dye, Emily Bannister. She's on Etsy and Facebook, and this month's gorgeous thing is called The Turning of the Leaves. It's a little bit less, it's more orange, deeper orange than that, but similar tones. It's less pink than it's shown on my screen anyway, but isn't that beautiful? Very reminiscent of the taller Acer that we've got in the garden, actually. So yeah, that's it on the BFL. So I'm going to have a very, very nice stripy jumper, I think, by the end of it. I'd like to use as many of hers as I can in the jumper. So that was this game. Now, bearing in mind, I paid £22, including postage for these. So you get your skein, 100 grams, and it's 400 metres. I like the sell-by dates on here. Best before the 21st of the 10th, 2022. Oh, it's going to disappear. And then, included in that, there is a small jar of coffee. Okay, that is a mocha instant coffee, 50 grams. Coffee's quite expensive. Now, I don't really go for instant coffee anymore. I've gone off it over the years. But I'll try that, you see, because like my flavoured coffee that I drink, the vanilla and the hazelnut ones. Be interesting to see how that lines up. So they get that. You get a little candle shaped like a fir cone. And hand warmers that you break. Foot warmers. Now they'd be good for me because I get terribly cold feet. Looks like these go on the end of your toes. And another pack of hand warmers. Right, so that's all those, as well as the candle and the coffee and the yarn. I haven't finished. And then she's put some organic spiced orange fruit infused tea in here. Excuse the rustling. And I've got 3, 4, 5, 6 tea bags. Oh, that smells lovely. I don't like spiced tea. I'm not keen on some of the floral ones, but I don't like floral scents, to wear perfume. I went to Mary, I told you last time, it was like somebody sprayed me with something. I asked her to. Oh, it's horrible. Oh, just take it to give me. Anyway, all that for £22. I cannot praise Emily and her clubs enough. She is brilliant. If you want a monthly surprise treat, get on board with whatever she's going to do next year, if you're interested. And then the last one I signed up to was Telling Yarns Hogwarts Legacy Hogwarts Club. And this is Slytherin's Air in her British 4-ply. It's brighter than that. Well, no, it's not brighter. It's warmer than that. This looks quite cool on my screen. That looks quite emeraldy for me, and it isn't. It's more limey, and the top of it is more a bronze colour. But isn't that gorgeous? You can see it's quite a fluffy yarn. That it's rustic without being harsh. I'd say not at all prickly. But then I could probably wear this. Now I thought I was getting the burrows, but other than that I've got Slytherin's Air. So yeah, green one. And they should turn into a nice fade after 6 months. And then finally, what I should have showed you last time that I hadn't got out of the bag, because I had to record it twice, didn't I, last time? Can't remember why. Let me just get these. 1, 2, 3. My lovely husband, I've shut the door today because Tom is in the kitchen and he's preparing I bought a leg of lamb from Waitrose because they gave me 20% off. So I bought a leg of lamb because they are ever so expensive, and he's cutting it up. He quite likes to have a go at seaming it, and takes all the meat off. And he's going to make a lamb curry, and then we're going to save a little bit and we have it as in kebabs, like pizzas and salad. Beautiful. Right, so these are, the last time it was yellows, and then this time I've rolled it up into balls. Doesn't make it any easier for me to hold. Isn't that pretty? So these are from Vicky Brown Designs, and this is her Ombre Club last month. Very, very nice. My mum said to me, I'm going to talk about you. She will come on the podcast. She said, what's she going to talk about? I said, all the things you've made over the years. Will be there forever, to be honest. Why do you keep buying minis? What are you going to do with them? I don't know. What are you going to do with them? Well, I'm going to make a rainbow blanket. Why do you need a rainbow blanket? Well, you didn't quite put it like that, did you? Well, she's got a point. So, there we go. Those are my incoming. I do have other things, and when I can find them, I will show you them on the next video, because I'd forgotten. I've forgotten where I've put them. Basically, there's baubles for the tree and something else. I've forgotten what the forgotten thing is. You know, people who write lists. I do write lists. I write lists all the time. Okay. Let's take a deep breath. We are in a mess. I've been sewing because I've been doing some bags for the charity grab bag that I talked about last month. There are a couple of slots left if anybody wants to join in or didn't hear about it last time. I am doing handmade bags. Mum said she might make a couple, and they won't be wonky, but mine will be warned. They won't fall apart, but things don't always line up. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to sell handmade bags. I'm going to put a couple of little extras in because I can't help myself. And one of the extras, though, is going to be a stitch marker that Pip from Willy Cutchies on Etsy has kindly donated to the podcast. Pip is lovely, and she knows why. She sent me a little surprise on my birthday, and yeah, it was greatly appreciated. Thank you, Pip. You're lovely. And today she sent me some stitch markers so I can start packaging the things up now. Start putting the minis in the bags and put them into mailing bags. And I'll be writing to anybody who's expressed an interest in buying the grab bags. I'll be writing to you hopefully in the next few days. But basically it's going to be a grab bag, stitch marker, and 10 by 10 grams of minis, and 5 times 5 gram minis, so that's 125 grams in all, possibly enough to make a pair of stripy socks or you can put them into blankets or even a jumper. You know, it's all doable, especially if you don't mind ends. Don't mention ends, and it puts people off. I'm selling these for £25, and that includes postage within the UK, second class post. And if I get them into the post fairly soon, then we'll miss the mad Christmas rush, and they'll get there in plenty of time for people to either open them at Christmas or whenever. You know, they're not Christmas thing, but I just want to get them off before the madness starts. Yeah, £25 includes postage, and of that £25, I will donate £15 for each bag sold to the Stroke Association, since Dad had a massive stroke before he passed away, but he also had one about 7 or 8 years ago, which he survived very well. So yes, if you're interested, I say there are 2 or 3 slots left. I was aiming to make 10. Yeah, and so far I think I've sold 7. So thank you to you lovely lot for expressing an interest. And for Sal, who's made a donation in exchange for some yarn that I sent her. So, you know, the yarning community is pretty good, I think. I might stay around for a bit. Anyway, what have we been up to? Well, I'm sure I've been somewhere. Oh, yeah. Since I last spoke to you, it's been my birthday. Has it been my birthday? It must have been, because that was only a week ago. Yeah. My birthday was last Wednesday, and in the evening, I went to see the Tenor Ladies. I hate this, you know. I can't even remember if I talked about my birthday last time. I should look in the book and see when I last podcast. Well, that'd be too simple, wouldn't it? I did something on the Monday. I met my friend on the Monday because the other people who I was supposed to be meeting, 2 of her grandsons had COVID. So I met my friend Liz in Worcester. And then on the Tuesday, I met Penny. No, that must have been. Anyway, what have I done this week? Let's just stay with this week, shall we? Didn't come out over the weekend. I went and picked up Mom, and we went to see Barbara in Bidford, and we took her to Evesham Valley Park for a couple of hours. Barb is the mother of one of my friends from school, Deb, who unfortunately passed away last year. Same age as me, multiple health problems, but you know, very sad story. But I keep in touch with Barb because I've known her, I reckon, for 47 years, we think. I think that's long enough to be friends with somebody, isn't it? You know, to carry on seeing them. Barb's 85 and she does really, really well. And the thing that keeps her going is her knitting and her nattering. She joined a knit and natter group a few years ago, and she's made some excellent friends through that in this small community of Bidford. It's like a large village now. It was a much, much smaller when I first got to know them. But it's got a lot of new build added to it, like a lot of places these days. And yeah, Barb's 85, she doesn't drive, but her friends have been brilliant support to her because she's lost all of her family in the last, I think it's 8 years. 8 or 9 years, she's lost every single member of her children and her husband. And nobody should have to live through that. That is horrible. So, yeah, I'll go and see her, and we'll pop over again before Christmas with Liz, if I can, to take her cards and perhaps a bit of yarn. Every now and again I send her a load from the Wool Warehouse, because she knits teddies for the police, for children who are taken into either social care, police, they're in, like a stressful situation. Knit a very simple teddy pattern that the child has to hold, like a comforter, and they take them away with them when they leave the situation that they're in. So she knits blankets for charity as well, and crochets, and she knits for herself and her grandchildren. So every now and again I send her a wool warehouse delivery, and she'll split it amongst her friends for them to do their charity knitting as well, and it's great. And you know, it keeps her sane. I said to her, what would you do without your crafting, Bob, without your knitting and your crochet? And she's interested in getting back into sewing as well, because she's got an old machine, but I think it needs a good service. And her very words to me were, well, I'd either be drinking a bottle of wine a night, or I'd commit harry-carry. And she meant it. She doesn't waste words. And I think, you know, keeping her sane, that and her friends, and the link to the knitting, it's brilliant. It's just absolutely brilliant. And I think, you know, those of us who've had crafts have often fared better through stressful situations because we've got something to do to distract us and to concentrate on, or, you know. Having said that, I spent the last 2 or 3 days watching weird murder YouTube videos. Real Responders, an American series. Some people kill for absolutely no reason at all without warning, and I'm just flabbergasted at the amount of cruelty in the world sometimes. On a lighter note, yeah, I was going to go for a walk with Penny yesterday, but I woke up and I couldn't move, so I cancelled that, unfortunately, because I was looking forward to it. But hopefully, maybe next week, I might be able to go for a walk. I'll meet with Maggie and Penny in the pub. Yeah, and I need to go and see Mum. What have I got planned next week? Nothing next week. So I can fit a couple of things in, meeting people. Isn't it easy? But I need to make an effort to get out more, because I'm not going to build my stamina if I don't get out more. You know, it's chicken and egg, isn't it? Let's get less philosophical. Today, something positive. I have now received my birthday and Christmas presents from myself, Tom, in the form of advent calendars. I've done an advent swap with Jane of Mouse Knits and Crafts, and she sent me the humongous box of good loveliness, which I can't wait to open. And then I bought an advent of I have done for the last 2 years from Family Tree Yarns, and that's come in a big box. And I'm going to save that. I'm going to open Jane's as an advent, and then I've bought 2 advents, which one from Family Tree Yarns and the other one from Adventures in Yarncraft, I think, and they will be opened as the 12 days of Christmas. So I'll start on Boxing Day. But I received another one, which was a winter comfort box, some Tudor Rose Crafts, and that's come today, although there's nothing in there to indicate it's from her. And it's a beautiful box of skeins with biscuits and tea and coffee in it. They're not wrapped, so I opened them as a birthday present from Tom to go with the microphone. Strange combination. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful colours. They sort of merge one into another. And I'll take some photographs, and then I'm going to squish them and enjoy them. Don't ask me what I'm going to make out of them. So some of them may find their way, get split when it's really bright colours that I won't use, and I think there's just a couple of those in the box. I may put into the grab bags, split them and put in the grab bags, because when I looked at my colours, I could do with a bit of bright in there to balance out the mix of all the dull stuff I keep buying. It's not a reflection of my personality, no. So let me know what you've been doing. I'm going to go now before I waffle even more and you start resting your head on the desk as you listen to me, or you've started snoring in the armchair and I will see you in a couple of weeks' time. If you've bought a bag, then I'll be in touch with you for your address. I haven't already got it. But otherwise, get in touch if you'd like to buy one. Subscribe if you don't and you want to see more of me. And I'm going to go away and do some editing and adding a shed load of photographs into here. So you take care, look after yourself. You still got to stay safe, and we will speak very soon. Okay, bye-bye.